Just showing. We are just showing a bit more lichen on the trees. Lichen, ivy growing up the tree there. Oak tree, holly. There. Oh, there we go. Even more dramatic. Yes, as I say, when I've been walking in Scotland, it's literally just hanging great clumps down off the trees, so wet. A few more dogs coming. You got your hands full. Hello, you ain't for your walk. Oh dear. It's all right, I won't scare you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I would say something. Good boy.
There's a few dog walkers about, even though it's a bit misty. Right, so this is what we used to call the old tip. So this was when I started on the dust carts about, I don't know what that was, 77, something like that. This is where we used to come. I remember driving up onto here, unloading. Used to be thousands of seagulls all sorting the rubbish. There we are, that's how cold it is. The little pond there is covered in ice. We haven't had much cold weather this winter, so it's a little bit unusual. I think that's the same lady I saw just now. I saw her on a walk just recently. We had a little chat. It's a rescue dog she's got. It's a bit nervous, but it seemed very friendly. Yeah, I worked a couple of years on the dust carts, and I wanted to work for the council because I wanted to get onto the parks department, but they weren't recruiting at the time. So they said if you get onto any department then you can always transfer, which is what I did. And I got onto the parks department and they sent me to college. Got all my qualifications. I ended up specialising in fine turf golf courses. So I built golf courses for a few years. Once I left the council in the late 80s, because everything was changing then. Everything was going out to tender. So so that private companies could bid for what had been done by work that had been done by the council. So I went and built golf courses for a few years. I haven't been up here for a long time. There always used to be motorbikes up here, track bikes. It looks like that might be, looks like there's some tracks and that here. So it looks like they might still come up here a bit, but they used to be up here all the time. And Western Estate, just over the way, you could hear them all the time in the background. Right, here we go, we're going down the other end. There we are, somebody's put a seat in there. If you want a little time of quiet contemplation, and they even provided something to read. Goodness knows what it is. I'm not that down with the kids. I know what all the graffiti means. Just as well, probably. Funny, these little oaks that they've planted, they are taking, they look quite healthy. Be interesting to see them in 200 or 300 years. It'll be like all the big mature ones. Little grove of silver birch there. There's a bit of broom in flower. Don't see an awful lot of broom around here, but oh no, that's not broom, it's gorse. Yeah, that's rather nice. Yeah, not a lot of that around here, but there we are. This whole area, I don't think this has ever been cleared. I think this is climax woodland. See it all down there, that's going down into the river valley there. And I think that's all climax woodland. I don't think it's ever been felled. It was probably part of the Abbey grounds, I would think. They would use it for timber, getting timber, timber for firewood, timber for building. This is a picnic area that was done in the 1980s. I I don't know many people use it, but I understand the teenagers come here in the summer. It's very remote, out of the way, so ideal. So they come here, do teenage things. I don't know whether to be shocked or jealous, I should think. There we are, somebody's certainly had a fire there, back in the summer, presumably. Right. Morning. So that area, I discussed this in another walk I did. I don't know if it was some sort of quarry on that. But I think they use it. The bikers get down here. It's quite good for pedal bikes, I would have thought, up and down. Always been there as far as I can remember. Right, let's head along this way through the woods. This is down in the river valley now. This is all mature stuff. Nothing's done with it, so it's just left to nature. So the trees just rot. If they fall over, they just stay, gradually rot down. As they should do. Just amazing, these lovely old trees. There we are. I thought that chap had a litter picker with him. He's clearing up the rubbish. I used to do that. I must start again, actually. Nice way to walk the dog. Do a bit of good. Let's have a walk down here. A bit slippery. It is a bit slippery. Not as young as I used to be. Yeah, I know you were all wishing me to fall over then. Now, I don't think there can be a way through here, but while we're exploring, might as well see what's here. Ooh, it's going to get very marshy. Yeah. Yes, there's going to be no way through here. It will just get wetter and wetter until I'll suddenly disappear from view. Funny, I took my granddaughter, she's 11, she's in the Scouts. I took her out in the New Forest early in the year to teach her map and compass. They still do that, I'm pleased. and we went out, but of course we were just going across the forest, we weren't keeping to paths and that, and of course you realise that most of the forest is pretty difficult. It's all marshy areas. It was a good experience. I haven't done that for many years. There's the little stream. Yeah, I think that is it. This is the stream. I know it's not very big, this one that goes through here. I imagined it's slightly bigger than that, but I think that is it. And of course, because it's really slow now, because all the vegetation that has slowed it all up. I could try and get across on one of those logs, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to. I know you'd love me to fall in. Yeah. Yes, it gets dammed up and that by the vegetation and slows it right up. Makes all these boggy, marshy environments. Good for the wildlife. Got to find my way back now. Yeah. Well, that was an easier way back than the slippery bank. Right. Yes, you've got this river valley running through Westwood, and then you've got housing estate and Western Lane and that, and then the other side of that you go into what used to be Mayfield Park, and there's another valley is very similar, and that runs through Mayfield Park, and that's the same. It's never been cleared. These river valleys like that, because they were no good for agriculture or anything, so they never got felled. And they're good now for deer travelling about, because you get these corridors through the landscape. Don't know what's making me cough. Yes, you get these corridors, and the deer use them. They're like their motorways. They use them for moving about the county. There are all sorts of ditches. There's another ditch here, and they're probably old boundary markers. Some of them probably go right back, even right back to Saxon times, and before, possibly. I like old roads, old trackways that people used for hundreds of thousands of years. Let's just have a look at this little bridge and the stream. I'm going to do a walk one day along the Harrow Way up in North Hampshire, sort of Whitchurch way. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Bit more like a nice little proper babbling stream, babbling brook. Play poo sticks here. I think our grandchildren are a bit old for poo sticks now. The oldest one is 14. Nice little dog. Hello. You waiting for your dad? He's looking very expectantly there.
Yeah, enough,
Hello, Happy New Year. Yes, so I'm going to walk part of the Harrow Way. The Harrow Way is an ancient track. It goes from sort of Dover, it goes from the coast over in Kent all the way down to, I think it goes down to Seaton in, I don't know, down in Devon. And it goes by Stonehenge. And it's an ancient track. They've got archaeology off it, I think, from the Bronze Age. But they think it's way before that. It goes back to Neolithic times, probably 5,000 years. It could be even older. I was reading about it just recently. They're not sure Harrow, the meaning of it can have there's a number of things it could mean. It could mean the way to the sanctuary, which could well be Stonehenge as it goes by Stonehenge. And it could have a root of Hor, meaning old, because it's often called the Old Way. And Hor is where we get, because Hor is from white, and it's where we get hoarfrost from, meaning white as in age. When you get old, you get grey or white hair, if you've got any hair at all. Mine went completely. Yes, so we'll have a walk along that sometimes. It's just interesting. I find it interesting to walk in a way that's been walked for millennia. They think the Harrow Way it must have been an old trading route. It runs along the tops of the ridges up and the downs, where it would have been easier to make a track through. The lower ground would be like this. It'd be impenetrable. I used to make films right back to the days of cine film. I am that old. And it's just changed so much now. These 360 cameras are amazing. You literally can just take it along, go out for a walk, have a chat, and it just records everything. There's another yew tree there. Funny, there's not many mature yew trees. Of course, they are very slow growing, but you'd have thought there'd be one or two really old ones. And there's another young one there. I was up on Old Winchester Hill, and they'd done some pruning and that there, and I got a couple of the thicker branches, and I make pens, and I made some pens this yew, polished up beautifully. Morning.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
To yourself.
People are funny. Some people will stop and chat and that, and some will sort of head down. Makes me laugh. We're all different. I once was in Scotland. I was with a friend, and we were camping. We walked and skied. We were cross-country skiing as well, and we went for miles out into the Cairngorms, and we camped. And then the next morning, we saw a little tent in the distance. So we went up there, and there's a chap, he was camping up there, and he said, I've come out of Aviemore and I've travelled miles out into the wilderness just to be alone and that. And he said, when I looked up, when I pitched my tent, I saw your tent over in the distance. So we said, oh, we're very sorry, so we'll leave you alone. It's good sometimes just to get out on your own, with your own thoughts. I practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about living in the moment. When you're doing something like this, when you're just walking in the woods, walking in nature, just enjoy the experience. Don't be thinking about what you did last week, which you regret, and what might happen next week. I forget who said it, but the past is history and the future is a mystery. So it's the present moment. That's the important thing. Right. Let's make our way down here. We're heading back to the housing estate now. There we are. So they put railings on both sides of this bridge. I once saw a trout in here. He's about 10 inches. Well, that's probably, oh dear, 40 years ago. Oh my goodness. Yes, time goes. We had there's moss on. Moss growing on that tree just for a change. Amazing plant, moss. I saw a whole television programme on it a few weeks ago. Incredible. There. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little walk around. Oh, there's a fern, of course, in this area. Lots of ferns. They like damp areas. Pteridophyta. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little walk around on New Year's Eve 2025.
Alone I spend another night. I close my book, I dim the light, I wait for sleep to know.